My name is Willow. Willow Faith is what I go by, I guess. I am 21 years old. I don't really have I don't have like a main art style, honestly, in the sense of like like paint or in that kind of medium, but I do write poetry. That's my preferred form of expression, I guess. But I do also paint and draw quite a bit. How's douchebag as a subgenre? Can I say that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I think that's
Free verse.
okay.
I love imagery, so a lot of descriptive writing, I guess. Like in the world. Okay, I'm a huge fan of music. Insert favorite band plug here. Jokes. But I'm a big fan of live music, especially. In poetry, spoken word is really my go-to, I guess, for content.
So,
Definitely. I don't think I would be nearly as interested, I guess, in the painting and more physical art that I do now, if it weren't for the pandemic at all, because like I had so much time on my hands and I was so bored of just like writing words. And I love poetry, I do. And I love writing it, but it's a lot harder to be inspired to write words than it is to draw pictures, I guess. So I started doing more physical art to help, with my stunted emotional capacity during the pandemic.
and
I mean, they're both definitely ways to get my emotions out. They're both things that I really like to participate in, I guess. But, I mean, I probably could put them together, and I have been thinking of stuff like that, but, like, my brain doesn't work like that most of the time, I guess, so I haven't gotten to that point. But they definitely are both forms of self-expression and feelings.
and
That for me shines through more with my poetry, definitely. I've written a lot about the pandemic and like the things I experienced during the pandemic and the things I watched other people experience, because yeah, that stuff affects you. It gets you deep, so you kind of need to find a way to let that feeling out without harming yourself or anyone else around you, I guess. And art's a really good way to do that. Art doesn't really hurt anyone. It could offend people, but in the end, you're not causing anyone risk unless you're spreading horrible information. But I mean, I was raised as a female. I'm not. I don't identify that way, but to be, I guess, from the beginning, and then, finding out I'm gay as well, just from the beginning, being at that disadvantage and seeing everybody else suffer from, or not everybody, but like 50% of the world's population also suffer from that, it motivated me, I guess, to do something. Sorry, we are like in the loudest fucking neighborhood right now. But I don't know. I mean, like, as a queer person,
raised affects how you are as an artist.
oh yeah, for sure. Not even on that level, but like trauma is something that, we all experience to an extent, I think. And that sticks with some people more than it sticks with others. I guess it's a way to like heal from what I experienced both socially and personally, because you can tell by looking at me that I've been through some stuff, and I think those people are the same people that you find making art, and I think that's a fair assumption. I don't think the artistic part of your brain is constantly triggered by trauma or horrible, like, whatever, but I think there is some sort of creativity relation to being raised to kind of be creative. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
It does.
I sound nuts.
No, you don't. You make perfect. Look, the older generation
Oh,
Like,
yes. I love this question.
or like, do you see it as a way of like being like,
I mean, I think all art to some extent is rebellion. Because art has been. I mean, art was respected in what? The Renaissance? Was the last time, maybe? Artists are seen as these, like, lower class people. And I lean into that, you know? I push that, and I'm all for, like. I'm all for, like, just pushing shit, especially with older people. It's so fun.
yeah,
Because they're so straight and narrow, like so tunnel vision about the way the world works, and they're not gonna be here for much longer. In like the kindest sense.
and it's like to change anymore.
Right. Like they put us here and then they see us as we've been raised by them as these very rebellious things, and they see it as like you failed, like we failed as a younger generation, when really they're the we inherited what they gave us, I guess, and now we're using it as like a,
like how we're making,
you know.
yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I'm not an advocate against social media at all. I love it and I love what it's capable of doing, but I've been on the internet making content for a very long time, like way too long, I think, and there's a lot of negativity out there for people, whether they just don't like your stuff or don't like you, or if they really just want your attention or just want to, you know, fuck with someone. Social media has helped me definitely, like, share my art, share my creations. I have, like, sites where people can buy my art, which is awesome. But yeah, no, the social media aspect is also a very tough, like, you're putting your art for the world to see, and whatever they say, they can say, and you'll never know who they are. So that part gets to you sometimes, but I've learned to tune it out and make fun of it more than anything, I think.
I think that's a good thing. I feel like you're a therapist.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't really have a therapy appointment this week.
Is this it?
This might be it. Like, I have one tomorrow for sure, but like now that I did this, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm fine.
Perfect. Sorry. And the last question is, this might be a hard question. I know, like when I talked to Max about it, it was a difficult question for him. But what is your main? What would you say your main identity is as a person from Gen Z?
Ooh. You know, if you were to give someone an existential crisis,
That would be it.
you would ask this question. I see myself as wow. What's that John Mulaney quote? I'm not sure what my body is for, other than taking my head from room to room. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if I would identify as an artist. I would definitely identify myself as a creator and a creative person and someone who enjoys art, clearly. I'm covered in it. And I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself like an artist by trade as much as by choice.
Max.
Great.
I'm 21 years old and I'm a graphic designer. Oh man, that was a question that stumped me. I would say it most likely aligns with the expressionist art movement, especially in the punk genre. I like making things based on the stuff I'm interested in. A lot of my work is focused around like movies I've watched or video games I enjoy. That's like my primary interest. But yeah, that's kind of, it's just a fun way to like dabble in something that I don't have much experience in. I always liked like the more digital side of things rather than like fine arts and painting and drawing and stuff like that. I enjoy it, but I think there's like a lot of freedom in a digital space, and you're pretty much open to do whatever you want. So that's like what I really liked about it, because it's pretty much a solution to anything in like a digital. Yeah, I think it made me appreciate what I do more, just because without like having to be anywhere and like being stuck in the house all the time, I had to like find ways to distract myself from like just sitting around and doing nothing all day. So it kind of made me realize that it's a really good distraction for me, and like once I get really into something, I'll spend like hours on it, and yeah, it just made me realize that it helps me out mentally a lot. I think, I mean, it's hard to say for my art directly, but like I think it just made me appreciate the medium as a whole, because a lot of art in general is just like an expression of what people are feeling and thinking. So especially during those civil movements, when people make things to communicate a certain message, it definitely helped me, or as I get older, it helps me realize like how personal it can be and like how much weight it holds for a lot of people.
So, like, do you think it helped you, like, appreciate maybe older art that you didn't appreciate as much?
Yeah, it also like kind of inspired me to like be more detail oriented around my own art. So, but what you were saying, yeah, I would say that stuff I wasn't normally recognizing beforehand, that I would definitely like take more into consideration now. Yeah, I'd say that mostly because at least I grew up in a household that was very organized, very neat and clean, and very to the point. So when I feel like I am not being heard or listened to, it does help, because at least in my style, it's not neat and organized. It can be kind of all over the place sometimes.
And that's where the expressionist comes in, right?
Yes. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I'd say that it can help and hurt. I sometimes feel too anxious to share it, but when I do, I get like really good feedback from it. And I like having other people see what I'm doing. I don't like to just keep it to myself, but it does hurt too, because like, especially when you're following so many other artists, you like just compare, but it's also a great way to find inspiration. So I'd say it's helped me more than hurt me, but it definitely can do both. Yeah, I feel like I was raised to always follow whatever rules were given to me, and no other way was the correct way unless, like, you know, someone else said so. So I feel like growing up, I kind of just kept wanting to break the rules, and sometimes it doesn't work in my favor, but at least when I'm doing what I do, I'm using that in a more effective way. I don't know, I don't really like have a specific label for myself. I'm just like a curious person. I like trying new things, and I like to say I'm a free thinker.